3, 2, 1. And welcome into the program. This is Financial Focus, brought to you by the best of the best in financial services, as named by the Lake City Reporter, 6 years and running, the team from GulfCoast Financial Services and Gulf Coast Tax Advantage, and founder and CEO John Kuykendall here with us as always. John, welcome back in.
Thank you, Peter. I went to the dentist this morning, and I think I'm beginning to feel my lips again. So hopefully,
such an odd feeling.
Yeah, They told me not to drink anything. So
and
about
welcome
an hour
into the
later,
program.
I
This
took a
is
drink, and all of a sudden
Financial
it just
Focus,
came out.
brought to
I
you
couldn't
by
even swallow
best
it.
of the best in financial and services, obviously as a named great, by the Lake day City for Reporter, radio 6 time, years right? and When running, you
Right,
the team
but
from
that-
Gulf Coast
I think
Financial
we're going to be able to get
Services
through
and
it, but
founder
it's
CEO
most of
John
the
Kuykendall here
feeling
with
is
us
back,
as
so
our resource on
we'll
the
see how it
program. And
works
John, we
out.
always appreciate the time. Well, John, on today's
Thank you, Peter.
program,
It's great to
gonna
be here.
talking about
I don't know whether you realize this, and I
interesting
haven't really talked to you about it,
in my
but
mind.
Gulf Coast
And
Financial is
a lot of
29
retirement
years
is
old today.
happy birthday. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's a good accomplishment. One away from a real kind of big milestone there.
Yeah, we can't wait till next year. I was trying to push it ahead, but when I went back and researched our incorporation, it was actually 1992 instead of 1991. So, I kind of lost a year there, but 29 years being independent, working on our own, helping the people of Lake City and the surrounding areas. I just couldn't be happier, and I'm so proud of our accomplishments.
Well, my wife is always sort of mad at me about it, but I just go to work as a normal day on my birthdays, John. What about Gulf Coast Financial Services? Is it going to be business as usual for your birthday?
Business as usual. We're going to have a big celebration next year because the 30th is going to be very exciting. And so we'll have some cake and other things next year, but this year's is going to be business as normal. And we're not even exchanging gifts. So,
well, we will celebrate with you this year and next year for that big milestone. But 29 years, not something to sneeze at either. That is a pretty reasonable amount of time that you have been here serving the savers and investors in North Central Florida, helping them to formulate those plans, getting them to a place where they are confident in making the transition to retirement. And in fact, John, great segue, because Kiplinger released an article we wanted to talk about today.
yeah.
Help,
Mhm.
I'm afraid to retire, even though I can afford to. John, is that a sentiment that you run into with your clients every so often there at Gulf Coast Financial Services?
Yeah, I just read about it this morning, Peter. There's a large number of the people that are getting ready to retire are really uncomfortable with retirement because they don't know if they're going to have enough money to live on. And that's one of the advantages of the financial focus income plan that we stress every week. We put that together so we can make you comfortable in retirement, and we can show you where you're going to be, how much money you can spend, and how you're going to live. And, so many people don't have that plan. And I think that's what brings on this anxiety. Is they just don't have an idea. It's a big step, Peter.
Yeah, and there are other big steps in our lives. We hear about cold feet, most often associated with getting married, right? You get cold feet, you're nervous about it, but that's something that is either you're all in or you're all out. Retirement doesn't have to be like that, and I think that may be the mindset more frequently nowadays, is that I'm going to ease into retirement. It's something that I'm going to give a trial run to and do more of what I want to do rather than what I have to do every day, but I'm going to give it a try and see how it goes. It's like that first time you go to the pool every summer, you sort of dip your toes in to test and see how the water is, right, John?
Well, that's right. And a lot of the people we talk to, they come in and they say, I want to retire. And we work out a schedule, we work out the plan. We tell them they can retire. And then they end up working for a year or two because they know they can retire whenever they want to. So they seem to go back enjoying work more than they did before because now they know they don't have to work. They're working because they want to. And so they kind of transition into this retirement. And then that final step is when they come in and tell me, hey, I pulled the plug and I'm leaving in 2 months.
Makes the job a little easier when you know you could leave if you wanted to. If you were having just that final day, broke the straw that broke the camel's back, and enough's enough. But
right.
There's also the financial aspect of it where we can actually begin to position the assets for a more appropriate retirement mix well before the day that we actually pull that string and do retire. We can begin generating income from our portfolio. Even if we just take it and reinvest it back in the portfolio, we can see how that works.
Well, a prime example of that, Peter, is we had a client at the end of 2020 that came in, and I mean, he was making a reasonable salary. I mean, it was a good salary. But when we got through doing the focus plan with him, we found out that he was eligible to take a spousal IRA on his wife. I mean, a spousal distribution on Social Security without affecting his, because we want to keep his till age 70. And so it just, there's a ways that we can position things. And certainly, Peter, we should start positioning the 401ks and the investments to get ready for that retirement. If we're that close, we can't afford a big hiccup.
I had some pretty astute investors, some pretty savvy planners one time that I was speaking with, and the gentleman said they had built up $2.5 million portfolio plus. I mean, they were going to be okay in retirement, but the gentleman said, the moment that I see my account balance start to decline while I'm making withdrawals, I'm going to be nervous. And I thought that that was a pretty keen observation, first of all, but the follow-up statement was, I want to be able to identify what I need for income so that what I have left for investment, I can continue to treat, as I always have, as an investment account. And again, I think that that was a pretty astute moment of clarity in what he wanted and what he needed to do.
And I think it's psychologically, it's everybody feels that way. If you're trying to retire and you're living only on your investments, then, in a small Social Security check, then you're going to be anxious every time the market goes down, every time you take a withdrawal, every time you get that monthly statement. And at the end of the year, you're down 30, 40,000. You're going to be upset and concerned. And what you're going to do is you're either going to cut back at the wrong time, or you're going to spend more at the wrong time thinking you've got a windfall if the market's up. That's not the way to retire. What we need to do for retirement is work on that income plan and put it to work so that we know we have sustainable, predictable income coming in every month, and how much we need from our investment bucket. And we still have a growth bucket, which is going to be the part that grows to help us with inflation and medical cost.
Okay, well, this Kiplinger article, Help, I'm Afraid to Retire, Even Though I Can Afford to, kind of two sides to that. There's the financial side. Having that financial focus plan and the income plan addresses that part of it. And then there's the mental, emotional, psychological, and the social circle side of it. Some of us have a group of maybe 8 to 10 friends that we've had at work, and those are the people that we've dealt with for the last 40 years, John.
Yeah, and it's a transition, and I recommend that anybody kind of transition into this, because you're not going to have that social network at work. So you've got to create other hobbies. You've got to create other interests to keep you active, and at the same time, you're going to be paying yourself. And I think that's something that everybody has to understand is that we have to create the money that's coming in, because there's no paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. And that's a huge psychological thing. So if we can phase into it, and if you can work part-time at your job or take some time off and get used to it, the worst thing you can do is, I have a couple who the wife retired about 5 years ago, and the husband came home about 6 months ago. And after he'd got through organizing her kitchen and doing everything, she told me, she says, he needs to go back to work.
driving me crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, another Kiplinger article, the 6 retirement killers. Number 1, not having a written income plan for life. And I think that part of it is what is addressed through the financial focus plan. You touched on number 2, John, using the wrong investment return assumptions in your income plan prior to and in retirement. We've got to be realistic and, in fact, probably conservative with our assumptions for returns into the future.
Well, you can say that the stock market has averaged 9% since the inception, or a little over 9%. But we can't rely on that because we don't know when we're going to go into a bear market or when we're going into a recession. And we're going to be needing income every month. It's not like I can postpone my income withdrawals for 6 months until the market gets better. So we have to have reasonable return assumptions that give us the room to still, when we have a good market, we build up, and when we have a bad market, it gives us that rainy day fund we can pull down from.
Yeah, I'm not going to only need to pay my bills in up years.
No. And you don't want to run out of money either, Peter. And that's something that if we take too much out in the beginning, it does have a big effect on how long the money's going to last.
Or number 3, taking too much risk with our investments.
Well, that's a problem. Everybody talks to their neighbor, and their neighbor is making 40% every year. And so they want to be more risky, or I want to buy a marijuana stock, or I want to do this, or I want to do that. And you have to have a plan and stick with it. You got to have allocation, income. You got to have income allocation, and you've also got to have asset allocation. You can't just have a strict growth bucket that I'm throwing all my aggressive investments in. And then the other advice I give is to quit listening to your neighbor.
Yeah. Those 40% returns, they'll tell you about them in the years they get them, and just stay quiet in the years they don't. Number 4 kind of harkens back, echoes the mental emotional side of the being afraid to retire. This is maybe the reason why people are afraid to retire, not enjoying the people and activities as much as you thought you would. Yeah, that's something that we've got to balance. And again, the toes in the water approach, trying it out, could help us there. Number 5, John, is a big one. We've talked about it before: giving too much money to the kids.
Oh yeah, that's a big one, because we can't do that because, during retirement, in fact, I got a couple right now I talked to the day before yesterday, and their son and his wife and the 2 kids moved back in with them. And so you can give it to them, but eventually you may need it because, they're having to support them due to COVID and some layoffs at work. They had to downsize. And so they sold their home and they moved in with their parents until they can afford to get out on their feet. Hopefully, she told me, very soon. And so you need to be ready for those emergencies. We don't need to give the money. We can't do proper estate planning, Peter, by giving everything away in the beginning. That's not the way to do it. Just because I deed the property to them now doesn't mean that I'm not going to create some problem later, because tax laws change, estate laws change, everything changes. And it may need that I need that money or that property to secure my own retirement.
Yeah, that's a little bit of putting the cart before the horse. However, John, if we do have the financial focus plan, if we do have a specific written plan for retirement income, the chances that we will leave something behind are ultimately increased substantially.
Yeah, and Peter, that back in the 90s and early 2000s, that was, everybody wanted to leave money that was behind to the kids. They thought, if we can leave the kids $1 million, that'd be great. But that's not our focus now. Our focus now is, because things have gone up, costs or inflation. Every 3%, every 24 years, your prices double, and you can see that on anything you buy. And so we just have to be ready, and we have to have that income plan, that focus plan, so that we can make sure that we've got inflation covered and that we have enough money to live. It's not a good way. It's not a good way to go without it. It's like me trying to drive to the mountains without a road map.
Yep. Well,
or my GPS.
Yeah. Today we have the GPS that'll get us back on track, even if we take a detour or a wrong turn. But that's not what we had back in the day, and in our financial lives. I guess that the course correction, getting us back on track, that's kind of the annual reviews. That's continuing to monitor the plan.
Well, what we like to do is, anytime that you have a major decision, you're going to need money for this, or you're going to need money for that, you want to buy a boat, we like to revisit the plan then. And we like to figure out how we're going to pay for the things we're doing. And then at least once a year, we need to have an annual review and go back over that focus plan, because things change, times changes. What you're going to do is change. Tom Hegnia still says that we have the go-go, the no-go, and the slow-go and the no-go. And I really believe that. And so during those go-go years, which you want right after you get retired, we want to make sure that we don't spend everything. So we need to update it constantly.
Well, you mentioned that back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, all the plans projected that we'd get these 10% rate of returns and we'd
Right.
pass away and pass on $3 million. Number 6 on Kiplinger's list of the 6 retirement killers, blindly believing when your financial professional says you're going to be okay. And here's where I wanted to get to with you, John. How do you and your team there at Gulf Coast Financial Services help to back that statement up when you are giving that reassurance to your clients today versus what a lot of people have seen in the past?
Well, first of all, we're a registered investment advisor, so we are a fiduciary. We have to put the client's interest first. Everything we put into the plan is what the numbers crunch, what we believe will happen. It's using historical data, not using data that's made up. And we have no reason to show you a large plan because I'm not going to make any more. I'm not going to make commissions on you because we don't charge commissions. So, it's just easier for us to say, we've got your best interest at heart. We want to give you the best plan. This is what we use software that we believe to be very conservative and also be very simple to use. And we try to come up with the best plan we can for you.
And that is the financial focus plan. The value of tuning into this program is that you can get that right now, ladies and gentlemen. All you need to do is pick up the phone, give a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018, or you can click the link below the video. If you're watching the podcast today, somewhere around here, there will be a link below in the description for you to take advantage of that offer. Or you can go direct to the website, GulfCoastFinancial.net, GulfCoastFinancial.net. Or again, easiest way right now, pick up the phone and give a call, 386-755-9018. And John, if you could overview what that financial focus plan looks like. What does that consist of? And what are some of the big issues that it would help someone listening to address?
Well, the first thing we have to do is figure out what your budget's going to be. How much money are you going to need in retirement to pay for your bills? And then we're going to look at what your wish list is. Okay, I want to need a car in 3 years. I want to buy a boat. I want to do this. I want to do that. We're going to put all that into the plan. Then we're going to take a look at your income. What income do you have that we know we're going to get every month? Analyze your investments. We're going to come up with an income plan that's going to fill the gap between what you're guaranteed and what you've got coming in. We're going to look at taxes, Social Security, Medicare. We're going to look at everything that we can possibly look at in retirement and help you get through it. One of the biggest problems right now is trying to get Medicare and Social Security to get your information right. We spend hours and hours every day getting correct. I've had one customer who signed up for Part B, and he has actually had it taken away from him 2 times because of mistakes, and we've had to go back and put it on. You have to watch all that. We do that for you when we put that focus plan together. So we take it and look at everything we can possibly look at, Peter, that's going to make your retirement the best retirement and make it as easy for you as we possibly can.
Income, John?
Income.
Investments, taxes?
Investments, taxes, Social
Healthcare,
Security.
Social Security.
We're going to maximize Social Security. We're going to look at your health care. We really do a great job with Medicare drug plans and also Medicare supplements. We understand them. We know them. And so we're going to look at everything and make it really simple for you. You will be able to walk into retirement whenever you want to. The big thing is psychologically when you're ready to pull the plug.
And again, if you would like to take advantage, if you would like to get that financial focused plan, pick up the phone, give a call. That is the value of tuning into the program right now, is you can get that and have a snapshot of where you are and then recommendations for guidance on how to achieve your goals into the future, executable action items that you can take, steps that you can take in order to achieve your goals. 386-755-9018. That's 386-755-9018. John, we always appreciate your time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Peter. It's great to be here. I'll send you a piece of cake this year, okay?
Fantastic. I'm celebrating the birthday with you.
Okay, bud.
All
See
right.
you.
Take care.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting GulfCoastFinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kuykendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through GulfCoast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. GulfCoast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.